Good evening, dearly beloved. So, if you are just joining us for the first time on this platform, I want to welcome you. My name is Oluwatosin Ogude. By the grace of God, the convener of Tabitha Health Awareness. On this platform, we share information that help us to stay healthy. And God has been helping us to do this for over 2 years. So, welcome and then grab a seat and enjoy the class today. So if you are here for the first time, let me also say this, that this platform is only for educational purpose. It's not to diagnose or to treat any diseases. So if you have any health concern or any health challenge, which I know the Lord is touching you already, please seek a medical support, a medical assistant, or reach out to your trusted physician for support. And I believe God, as you trust God and journey, the Lord will journey with you and you will come back with great testimony. So today, I want to share on food as medicine. Food as medicine. Basically, touching the classes of food. So I will be doing this series. I don't know how long it will take me, but I will make it as fast as possible so that we can start the teaching on some of the topics that we requested for. And I've prepared some of the topics and then we'll be going into them. But before we go into those topics, we need to understand the importance of food and the classes of food, what they do for us and why they are important. So tonight, let's just look at the classes of food that we have. Now, we have different classes of food. Food is very important for us. Food is what God has created for us to help us to stay healthy. Food is what God has put together to maintain the body that He gave to us to function in certain ways, in the appropriate way, to help us to move our bodies, to do vital things. And because God Himself put the structure of the body in an intentional way, He put them together for a purpose. So, and we must also follow the pattern at which it has designed this body, and we must ensure that we follow the instruction to take care of the body itself. And one of the ways to take care of the body is to supply the body with a fuel to help it to function, and that fuel is what we call food. So the classes of food that we have, science have been able to divide them into different parts. The first one is in no particular order: protein, carbohydrates, fats and oil, vitamins, and the minerals, and then they also have the particular structure water. Now, this aspect of different classes, they are very crucial. No one is more important than the other. In fact, if you don't have protein and you think you want to go on carbohydrates, in no time, your health will be in shambles. Okay? And if you have protein, carbohydrates, you don't have the right fat and oil. You won't have cholesterol, enough cholesterol in your body system or some certain things. And your brain also uses oil, and the areas of your body that uses oil will suffer and your health will be in jeopardy. So your food must have all of them. So now, let's start with protein. So before we dive in, what does food mean to you? When you hear the word food, what comes to your mind? Foods are essential part of a fulfilled life. Without food, life will not be sustained. But for food to achieve these purposes, it must be the right kind of food, meaning that it must be nutritious. I hope you get that clear. It must be nutritious. Nutritious means it must contain the nutrients that can fuel the body to function properly, and the nutrients must be in adequate amount, in adequate proportion, and also be taken in the right form. These nutrients can be in different categories, and they are broken down. Their end results, they do a whole lot in our body system. The carbohydrates is broken down to give you glucose. Glucose is essential for a lot of function. The popular word is for energy. We have protein, the building blocks of the body system. We have the fat and oil, which is very crucial for different kind of processes in the body system, especially when it comes to formation of cholesterol, which is also important for different functions in our body. We have the vitamins, which is nutrient, which is very key for what? For the bodies, for the body, for the organs, and all that. We have the minerals, that is very essential. But today, we want to look at protein. What are proteins? Proteins are essential nutrients that play many critical roles in the body. They are very, very key. You hear them different forms: protein, 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 protein. Proteins are complex molecules. I don't want to use too many grammars. I don't want to speak too much grammar here or use terminologies that will not comprehend or that will confuse us. Let's break things down gradually. Proteins are made up of other smaller units. So when you say protein, when you eat certain food and when you eat them, your body is not going to recognize that beans, moi moi, these or those things, meat, egg, and all of that. Your body is going to understand the structural forms that is inside that food. Okay, and in every food, there is a structural formulation of every food. You see them as the way they are, but they are not just the way they are. Why does your beans look like the kidney? And the beans is also one of the food that is critical for the proper functioning of the kidney. So beans is a good food. You see kidney, call it kidney beans. When you see kidney beans, truthfully, you see it is shaped like a kidney, right? So God is very intentional in presenting, in creating every food that we see on the surface of the earth. Now, when you say that food today, there's a structure that looks like what is going to help to do. So your body system doesn't recognize that beans on itself, but you want to understand the structural formation of that food. And now, in protein, there are different smaller units inside them. They call them amino acids. So if you're a science person here or you're not a science person here, I'm sure you may have heard or come across something they call amino acids. So when talking in terms of structure, these amino acids are the real building block of protein, okay? They are the ones that come in different form together to form the certain protein that act in different functions in the body system. The product of protein breakdown, when your protein is broken down, when you eat them, when they are broken down, they come down to become something. When you hear breakdown or metabolism, it means that the conversion of a thing to another. Metabolizes now is breaking down from carbohydrates to glucose. It's converted to something, metabolism. So the point is that when you eat those proteinous food or protein food that represent protein, those food, when you eat them, the body break them down into structure that I told you that your body need to understand, called amino acids. These start from the stomach. The breaking down starts from the stomach. As soon as you eat, that is why you can't afford to jeopardize what you eat. You don't have to jeopardize your body system with what you eat. You must be intentional about what goes into your mouth, because as soon as you put those things in your mouth, the operation, the activities that God has created the mouth to do begin to start. That's why when somebody eats poison, the body will take it and get the structure inside that thing and process it to be poisonous to the body. Why haven't we understand, haven't we asked ourselves, how does the body recognize this one as food, this one as poison, this one as toxic? How does it body? Because the body is created in such a way to attract like manners, to attract, you know, in the cell, like attract themselves. So when you give the body will begin to look at it and say, this structure is not what I'm expecting. When you give the body certain food, it breaks them down. When it breaks them down, there's the one that goes into the stomach, the one that goes into the duodenum, the one that mixes from that place and gets it into the small intestine, transfer it to the small intestine. God is a perfect and a beautiful designer of the body system. His structure is amazing. I've said it several times here. The anatomy of the body system is one thing that can make man, is one thing that should make all of us to know that nothing can tell us that there is a God, a creator, bigger being than man up there. And that is God that created the body system in such an amazing way that the way the body functions, it's amazing. Now, when this thing is broken down, it starts from your mouth to begin to dissolve. There are some enzymes, there are some things that come into your mouth that breaks them down. When they break them down, they begin to pass them into your esophagus. That's the throat side, where we call throat, okay? It goes down through that side, and when it's coming down, it begins to pass through and goes into the liver. Then the breaking down starts from the mouth, then goes into the stomach, and the metabolism will start. So there's it continues in the small intestine, and then the large molecules are broken down and disassemble when the big. So now, when it gets to that point, that is when there is what they call a distribution. Let's call it distribution. It's not called disassemble. It removes it, breaks it down, because the structure is not what you still have to feel the sweetness and the taste into your mouth. So now the structure breaks down and goes into different dimension, and this eventually leave to remain the tiny parts inside that thing. That is tiny structure. It leaves it. That tiny structure is what we call amino acid. It is referred to it as free amino acid. You call free. Free means that it can just, it can go, it can it can flow into the bloodstream and begin to walk, and what that's the way God created it, and can be taken into the blood and transported to various cells all around the body and for further breakdown. So now when it gets to the cells begin to do different things. All this begin to break it down further. Oh, you're not supposed to be here. Oh, you have done enough. I extracted you enough. Now it comes down. It can begin to break down or break down. Now, when it breaks down, sometimes the remnants of it will be removed, the good ones are taken in as well. So these amino acids, they are different too. There are 20 different types. The amino acid are 20 different types, and the way they are structured, the way they are arranged together, they now determine what function they do. What they do in the body system is the way they are structured that determine what they do. Now, let's look at the functions of protein. Let's leave the grammar. The function of protein. Protein can serve as transporters, right? Protein, when you eat those proteinous food, when you eat them, what they do, they serve as transporters. For instance, some of the things in your body system, they are proteins, right? One of that protein is what we call hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is what that gives that red pigment in your blood, and that is what that's the carrier of oxygen. Now, hemoglobin carry oxygen in the body, which means if you don't eat the correct or the right amount of protein, you can be deficient of oxygen supply. This is so deep and so amazing. When I start to think about this particular thing, I knew that a lot of times when we suffer some things or blood or oxygen short or certain things, many times we think that, oh, I don't have enough blood. So we can now see that if you don't eat protein, if you don't have, if you don't eat protein that there's no formation. There won't be a proper formation of hemoglobin, because hemoglobin itself now, it's a protein. Okay, if you understand where I'm coming from, it's the structure that comes down is a protein itself, and then when it comes as a protein and it now begin to carry, it's like a transporter for you. So it is what you eat as protein that comes together, that structure that comes together, that form that ability for oxygen to be carried around your body system. You see why it is important. They call protein the building block of the body system. Now, let's look at the second one. The protein support immune function. Antibodies that play significant role in immune system are proteins. Can you see again? Antibodies that produce, that affect, that help immune function, they are proteins. And that is true. That is why the immune system is dependent on that supply that you give to him, the protein supply that you give to it. It is very important. It means that if you are deficient of protein, your immune system will be compromised. Can you imagine? So when you want to build immune system, you have to also consider that we must understand the importance of eating protein, the importance of protein. You know, I don't used to pay attention to protein to myself before. Honestly, you will see something. I don't used to pay attention to it before, but now I have a better understanding. I used to be very afraid of it. So because in our mind, they program our mind to believe that it's only meat, fish, and all of those things. So because we are running away from too much of these things, and then we begin to have problems. Okay. So, but there are other sources of proteins. Okay. So let's go on. Let me not jump the gun. So if your body is deficient of protein, your immune system will be compromised. Maybe somebody is listening to me today and then you are saying that you've been eating healthy, but you've not been paying attention to certain nutrients, this particular protein. You're thinking, could it be because you're not having enough protein that you are suffering for what you're suffering and your immune system seems to be doing that? Exactly. I'm answering you, yes. It may just be that reason. The next one is that protein is big when it comes to building and repairing of tissues. You know what tissues are. Let me explain something here. What are tissues? Tissues are a group of smaller cells that can come together to perform specific job in the body, okay? In a nutshell, it is these tissues that come together to form your organs. So proteins help to repair the tissues from time to time. And they equally build tissues. Okay, let me explain this. Now, there's a cell. The cell in your body system is one small thing like that. Okay, these cells come together to form tissues. So, in a nutshell, your tissue when you hear tissues, they are composed of different numerous kind of cells that form together to form that tissue in that particular area. Okay. Now, these particular tissue are the ones too. They form these tissues of like mind. They form together again to form organs. So organs of the body system, maybe like your liver, for instance, there are certain cells that are same family that come together to form the tissue around that area. Then the tissue to come together to form the organs, each of the organs in your body system. Now, these organs too, they come together. These are the organs that form together to also form system like cardiovascular system, for instance. Cardiovascular system, you want to call the vessels. We've done that before. You don't, the heart is part of the cardiovascular system. You want to talk about the vessels, the veins, the arteries, and those things. Then you also want to talk about the blood. It's also part of cardiovascular. So all of those things come together to form cardiovascular system. Respiratory system, you understand? The lungs and the likes of that, they form the respiratory. They all start from cell formation, tissues, organs, and body system. The organs now come together to form a system. All right? They call the system become the system, and the systems come together. They are the ones that form a whole human being. So we have about 11 pro system in the body system: cardiovascular, respiratory, excretory, what do you call it? Excretory is part of urinary. Then we also have the rudimentary, we have the skeletal system, we have different part of system there about the nervous system. I'm just trying to break it down so that you understand what I'm saying. And now, this is the reason why we call protein the building blocks. Without protein, these things cannot be formed. These tissues cannot be put together. So if you cannot be a human being, or you cannot have that structure. That structure, you'll be structureless if there's no protein. So that's what we call protein as a building block. So if you don't have that, all of these tissues will not come together, will not form, the structures will not be together, and there will be a problem. Okay, so that's why this is one of the reasons why pregnant women are advised to eat food rich in protein. So when a woman is pregnant, one of the things that is very important for that woman that you want to encourage every woman to take is proteinous food. That's why you eat food that is rich in protein. Encourage them to take good egg, take egg, to take this because it helps to build the structure and the tissues of the baby. So if a woman is malnourished and doesn't have enough, so we can see that there will be deformation of the features, and that will be a big problem. So that's one problem that we want to also consider. So that is one issue. So we note that when we hear the word, I also want to get a caution here. When you hear the word When you hear the word protein, it does not mean, no, don't be quick to think that it's only meat or animal proteins only. That's not what it means. Sometimes you hear fish, you say, meat. No, fish. That's not only what should come to our mind when we get to this point where we talk about different things that we can find in. Then the other fourth one is that don't forget we are talking about the importance of protein. The number 4 one is that there are also lots of proteins that act like enzymes. And saying there are proteins that act like enzymes. There are also proteins that act like enzymes, okay? This protein, they help to speed up chemical reactions in the body. If you're a science or you are not a science, you hear something we call, enzymes are catalysts. They call them like catalysts. They help to speed up chemical reactions in the body system. So now, if you don't have proteins, it means that there will be sluggishness in certain processes in your body system. They speed up digestion and the like. So if not, your food will just be sitting down in your stomach, and this can cause serious issues. Okay, and also absorption problem can also be another issue that will come up here. Absorption problem can be a problem because there's no enzymes that is helping to speed up the chemical reactions in your body system. And these enzymes, some of these enzymes are proteins. So you want to ensure that you get this particular aspect right. I hope you are seeing why it is dangerous. It is a dangerous course to eat with focus on, you just eat without focus on nutrients. Your food is just there. You're just eating because you're eating. And I've seen a few things happen, and I thought that I should share this particular thing. Some people, they just feel they eat fruit alone, and they don't balance things up. That's why if you join the 30 days challenge, you'll see the way we balance the food up for us. And I share with us, if you are even composing your smoothies, you don't compose smoothies like people who don't have the understanding. I've shared how to combine your smoothies to make your smoothies a whole and complete meal. That when you have that, you have all categories of food in your blender and in your food. So when you are drinking your smoothies or you're making your smoothie, you are making the understanding that all the classes of food must be present in your smoothie so that it can be beneficial for your health. So you see why it is dangerous to just put food just anyhow in your mouth because you just want to eat breakfast. What are we going to eat this morning? Sorry, I cannot speak the Igbo of this one or Hausa, please bear with me. So what are we going to eat this morning? and you just go inside, okay, yeah, bring this one out, bring noodles, bring spaghetti, bring them together. You don't cook like that. You cook with intentions. You cook with mind that you want your food to be rich, your food to be nutritious, okay? And being nutritious doesn't mean that it has to be, for your food to be nutritious doesn't mean it has to be expensive. It doesn't mean that it has to be expensive. I'll break down this with you shortly. Now, there are also, another point is that there are also some hormones that are also proteins. Examples of them is insulin, which helps to regulate a lot of body functions, right? Insulin is key in a body system. Can you see something here? That the genesis of some people's diabetic issue may not just be because they eat sugar. We can see that proteins like protein that is responsible for regulating the sugar is also an important factor. So somebody might come down with diabetes because the body system is deficient of protein, because protein, it will need that protein to also do a lot of there's a protein what is called insulin, protein insulin, hormones that is a protein, a particular hormone. You know that insulin is an hormone, okay? So this hormone, it said, is the structure of it is a protein, it's a protein structure. And so if the person is not supplying the adequate amount of proteinous food, you see this particular structure will not be formed properly, and there will be a problem from beginning. So you can see how your food must be balanced in such a way to help to produce certain things. You see why somebody will call and say, what can I use for this? I will have diabetes. What can I use? And I tell people that, sorry, I don't attend to issues like this because I need to understand the genesis of your issue. I need to explain, I need to ask you questions. We need to talk. We need to talk so that I can understand where you're coming from, the background and all of that. Not that I just make some herbs together. I said take it for diabetes. Yes, it works, but it beyond that, because your blood sugar will just come down, but you're not tackling the issue, the fundamental problem itself. So you need to understand this principle. So somebody might just correct this deficiency in protein, and the person will have the diabetic issue, reversed easily. Another point here is for energy. Now you can see that although protein is not the primary source of energy, but it can also be used as a source of energy when the body needs it, because excess protein or amino acid are stored up, just as excess sugar or fat are stored up as well. Now, when somebody is fasting, let me use an example of fasting, for instance, when the person is not eating and the person is not starved of food and all of that. And that's why they said that there's a limited time and period that somebody can fast for. Now, if somebody is fasting and doesn't have food, the body, whether you're fasting or you are not fasting, what is this, the buildup of the body, or the way the body is created, is that your body needs fuel, needs power, needs strength, new energy to move on. Now, if you're not supporting the body system with it, the body equally has a stored up product. It had your excess, if you eat excess protein, for instance, now, the body has used the one it wants to use. And you don't even know the calculation or no calculation. The body will take the excess protein and store it up, right? It will store it almost in the liver. Now, the body will store glucose as well, like glycogen in the liver. The body will also store up the fat. Also, it stored up the fat, okay? Now, it's stored up in the muscles, in the liver, and different parts. See the wisdom of God. When you are lacking energy or strength, or somebody, that's why you do not faint when you are fasting from morning to 6. And that's why the body goes into the storage system, brings it out, and supply it with energy. And that's one of the reasons why they tell you that if you're doing fasting blood sugar, there's a specific time, 2 hours from the time that you hit last, okay? In the mornings, which is about 8 a.m. is the best time, because if you don't take it at that time, by the time it's getting to like 10 a.m., Your body stored glucose will have been released from the liver, because what is stored as glycogen will be converted back to glucose so that it can release. Your body senses that your brain needs glucose, your body needs glucose, your body begins to release. So when you see somebody that faints or passes away or unconscious, that means even the stored up energy has been used up. The stored up glucose has been used up. So there's nothing more to use up, or the body is demanding for so much. And that's why you have to be careful. For somebody that is fasting 7 days, 14 days, you too, you want to go and join somebody that is fasting 13, 14 days, 21 days. Your body system differs. Your stored up energy must not be as much as the other person's stored up energy. Please understand your body system. If A is doing something and you think you want to follow, please, you may not be able to sustain it because your body is different from the other person. Some people may be able to fast for 3 hours. Some might not be able to fast for 3 hours because their body will start shivering. They will start shivering and they'll start shaking because their body metabolism, their body storage system cannot take that far, because maybe they don't have enough storage system or their body cannot store too much. So that the capacity that the body can store up, and when you need it, you can only have maybe a period of like 10 days. So that's why they said, watch your body system, know what is good for you. It's not everybody that we even also allow or advise to fast. Okay, so you have to note this aspect of it. So while we are talking about that, so our body system can be stored, our protein can be also stored when there is need for energy or for supply, or there is the excess demand. Sometimes at the period of time in our life, our body needs more. Okay, so your body may be asking for more, and then you need to stop to supply the body with the energy. The body has the wisdom. God created the body in such a way that it has the wisdom to supply when it needs to be supplied. All right, now what are the sources of protein? As a roundup, what are the sources of protein? We have plant sources. Examples of plant sources are beans, all types of beans. We have brown beans, white beans, we have lentils, we have soya beans, okay? We have nuts, we have seeds. I will come back to the soya beans again. We have nuts, happily we have nuts, we have seeds. We have whole grains, okay? Can you see how God is faithful? How we are blessed? Like I always say, God has not left us alone and cannot abandon us at all. There are options. There will always be a way of escape at every time. God has given us so many options for protein sources. Now we have the beans, is abundant everywhere. Rich or poor, it may be expensive now. White beans that we condemn very well. White beans is also very rich, very, very rich. In fact, some school of thought think that white beans is what we should be eating. Those days, it's white beans that we used to eat. I don't know whether somebody remember. It's white beans that we used to eat, plenty, that has that black eyes in front, and then you want to be removing all those black eyes from it. But it's actually one of the best, one of the very beautiful beans that we have. We have the brown as well. We have different kind of beans. We have black beans. We have different kind of beans everywhere. Then we have soya. Soya is one of the best sources of protein. I'm telling you, majority of the, but unfortunately, majority of the soya available are GMO. So that's why we have to be careful with soya. So, but if you can lay your hands on organic soya, you have somebody with it, after they write it on it, they process it organic, they are grown organically. Please be careful with soya beans. In fact, if you have any health issue, I want to appeal to you to stay away from soya beans, except when you know that this is organically grown soya beans, and then you can vouch for the source of that soya beans. Don't buy soya beans in the market and say it's organic. Except you have sources or you have somebody who grow, or where they buy it in some known brands that are organically grown. When you hear the word organic, it's not what they call organic in Nigeria. Some people think that fruits and vegetables are organic. No. Or fruits that are grown without pesticide alone are organic. No. The organic are termed, they have their term, and they have their parameters that they look out for to certify a product organic. So let us be careful with that. Then we also have nuts. We have nuts. We have nuts, and that is one amazing thing. Nuts are powerful sources, not only proteins, a lot. It has a lot. It doesn't have only protein, it has a lot, but other than protein, it also have fiber. It also have a healthy fat. No, you also have healthy fat. And we have different kind of nuts. We have almond nut, we have cashew, we have walnut, we have pistachios, we have Brazilian nuts, we have different kinds of nuts. When you get to a nut section, you will be amazed at the creation of God. God is so awesome, and each of these nuts, they are powerful. When we are talking about nuts, I'm not talking about peanuts. I'm not talking about granules. Please, granules are not in this category, and granules are good. They are okay in their own. But like I said, granite is also one of the controversial things. Little quantity at a time, because most of the granules also they are GMO products. So, and then the way they grow the granules as well, sometimes, or the way they even process them, it can be questionable. But it's not I don't eat granules, I hate, but a very, very minute quantity. I do a lot of what's it called now? Um, Tree nuts. Tree nuts are the ones that we are mentioning here. Tree nuts are the ones. We also have seeds. They are abundant of seeds. So if you're not getting for your food, you're getting from nuts, you're getting from different, and you're also getting from seed. You have pumpkin seeds, which you can either toast or you just eat like that. They have wonderful protein, wonderful source of protein, wonderful source of magnesium, because that's why pumpkin is very good for the heart, even for hormonal issues, for women in hormonal issues. Also very good for relaxation because it's of the magnesium inside. So when you eat or you chew some amount of magnesium of pumpkin, you're taking some amount of magnesium. It's also rich in zinc, and zinc is particularly very good for immune system as well. So you see how God designed it. Each of those nuts, they are abundant and rich in wonderful nutrients apart from protein. No, we have pumpkin seed, we have chia seed, we have flax seed, we have sesame seed, we have sunflower seed, we have black seed, we have melon seed, we have different kinds of seed. So name them. You have different. We have also lentils. We are not so used to lentils here, but lentils is also very good. We have all grains. We have millet. We have sorghum. We have oats. We have different types. There's so many of this thing that can give us. You can see that it's not about only animal sources alone. So we also have the animal sources. We also have the animal sources, of course, but let me also conclude and say that adequate protein consumption is very crucial for growth. So now we can see for growth, if you want your child to grow well, give your child adequate amount of protein. And you know where you can get the sources of protein now. You can get them from different sources. You can get them from animal sources. You can get them from different. You can get them from animal sources. You can get them for plant sources. The plant sources that I mentioned, you have a whole lot of abundance of them. So that means most of our food here, if I put them in, you have adequate amount. Your protein should be good. So if you have your protein, animal protein, a little, make sure that the protein is enough, like a palm, full palm or two of this one. So that means that it's not only animal protein that you are packed into your plate. That will be disaster. So adequate protein, as I conclude tonight, adequate protein consumption is very crucial for growth, especially if you have pregnant women around you. Ensure that you take adequate amount of protein. Is very important. Animal protein, plant protein, most especially, they can eat that. Healing process as well. If you are going through any health issue, it means protein is very crucial for healing process. Very crucial for healing process. So make sure you put amount of your protein. And the other day we made protein powder. So a tablespoon of your protein powder in your smoothie will give you an amazing result, amazing health benefit. And healing and also immune function, and healing process, and the healing itself, it helps. Then immune function is also another one, and your overall health. Now, as I conclude, don't joke with your protein, especially from plant sources, and moderately consume protein from animal sources. It's very important. You can take egg. Egg is good, especially when you can get organically reared chicken that lay egg. It's very good. They are rich, they are good, and they are healthy. Okay, so you can take eggs at least three. I like to take egg like about 3 times a week, but if it's organically reared one, I like to take that. Okay, but if it's not, then I stay away. I can only do it maybe like once a week, right? So animal protein, meat, it's not something that I want to encourage you to indulge yourself and put in your house. Most of the meats that are abundant here, they are not healthy for us. They are not so healthy for us. So you don't want to do that on a regular basis. Goat meat is lean in a way. Moderation is also key. Okay, lamb is also one of them, but make sure it's very fatty. Make sure that you keep all that. It's because they are lean meat. They feed more on plants and grasses like that. So, but they don't give them, but because of these antibiotics and the likes of that, growth hormones, and they feed these things in, it becomes really well. So, grass fed goat is always the best for us, but we usually don't have much of that here in Nigeria. Now, or we can have it. So those in diaspora, their products are usually labeled. So you are lucky if you have just see grass-fed meat, they are better. Grass-fed meats are better. In all, balance is very important. Balance is very important. Right proportion and moderation is very key. And I want you to understand when it comes to this animal protein. I hope you know that WHO has classified processed meat as number one carcinogenic food. So we want to be very careful or when you want to deal with animal protein. I hope you know that WHO has classified processed meat as class A carcinogenic. Please stay away from them. Hot dogs, sausages, ham, and the likes of them. Please, let's stay away from all of these things, except you know that grass-fed meat, grass-fed or chicken, and the likes of them, they are the best for us. I hope I've made sense tonight. I trust God that the Lord will breathe upon every discussion and make it an impactful one in our lives and our family. I look forward to your testimony. Thank you for having me in your corner. God bless you, and have a wonderful week.